Hello everyone, thanks for coming. My name is Mateo.
I'm Aiden.
I'm Ariel. And I'm Delaney.
And we are the 6 Degrees team. So here's Delaney with a description of our challenge.
So, Climate Oasis is a cooperative game that is set in the year 2070. It is originally created and developed by Jessie Bradish and her team, but we have worked on improving it over the past 2 weeks. Since it is a cooperative game, players will be trying to beat the board instead of each other, which makes gameplay complicated, and this is one of our challenges that we discovered in our process. Now Ariel will talk about the human-centered design approach.
So we use the human-centered design approach method, which is basically design thinking. And in the first stage was the empathy stage, and we did site visits to Mythic Games and Bothco, and we also play tested Climate Oasis. And then the second stage was the define stage, and we got insights and how might we questions. And then the third stage was the ideate stage, where we came up with possible solutions to the game. And then we prototyped those possible solutions, and in the last stage we tested out those prototypes.
Some of our earliest stages with the project were when we were first presented with the challenge. One of the first things we did, since it's a game, was played it. And that gave us our first reactions, kind of some main insights of what the game really was, what needed to be changed or reworked in the game, just what should stay and what should maybe be changed a little bit. Our first site visit was to Bothco. For inspiration, we met a woman named Jana, and she focused on innovative technology for climate change and also raising awareness through education, which is related to our game, and it was good inspiration. Next, Mateo's going to talk about the playtest.
Alright, so first of all, we did a blind comparative playtest with the BBT team. We had them play Exploding Kittens and Climate Oasis, and we compared the setup time or frustration window for each of those games. So for Exploding Kittens, it took about 10 minutes for them to get into the game. But for Climate Oasis, it took 15 minutes of just trying to figure out the instructions, plus 5 minutes of expert help for them to actually get into the game. So as you can see here, they were very frustrated. Okay, so we also went to Mythic Games, where we discussed and play tested the game with an employee named AJ and a graphic designer named Melissa, and we got some very valuable insights from both of them. And here is Ariel with some how might we questions. Oh, Aiden with insights.
So based on the evidence, one thing about the human-centered design approach is it's not based on our ideas about the project. We collected evidence from groups of people in the community so that we could have a lot of different perspectives focusing on the same process. So what we observed from the playtesting at Mythic Games and with the BBT group was we needed the instructions and the setup for the game to be a bit faster and a bit clearer. And we also needed to incorporate a bit of storyline so that the game would be more engaging. And using these insights and observations, we were able to create some how might you questions, which Ariel's going to talk about.
So from the insights, we defined 3 main how might we questions, and one of them was how might we create understanding and comfort through clear instructions, and how might we hasten setup so that users can quickly get to gameplay, and how might we build engagement through backstory and personalization.
Alright, so we came up with lots of ideas, both good and bad. Some of the more obvious ones that we came up with were reformatting and redesigning cards and instructions. And some of the more radical ones were completely redoing the instructions, including a time machine which you could use to go back in time and change the past to win the game, a library, and we used some of those, we didn't use some of them. And here's Delaney. Here's Delaney.
So after we pitched our ideas to Jessie, we found that we should focus on at least three broken mechanics in the game, rather than working on the instructions, which was more on the surface level. We also find that we should find a way to incorporate the timeline into the game to act as a story and get users more engaged in the game. And now Aiden will talk about our solutions.
Thanks, Lynn. So we had 2 major focuses when we were changing or improving the game that came through in our solutions after our brainstorming. And one of them was including a storyline so players would feel more engaged. One minor change we did was include a description about each character in the game's role, so the players playing the game would feel like they have more of a purpose. And we also added a library category where people playing the game could learn an event between 2020 to 2070 on that timeline you can see on the wall. And
There's a card.
there's an example card. It brings in a new aspect to the game that kind of we didn't have before. And another thing we did was add a few mechanics changes, or just basically how the game is played, like adding a dice and combining some card decks.
So we tested the prototype ideas, and so one of them we added, since we did add the library space, we also combined the job cards and the scavenge cards together just to make one deck. And we also included a die, just like Aiden said. And so with the die, you would roll it, and one side would have K and the other one had J. K for knowledge, which was in the library cards, and J for job. And a lot of the players, when we play tested it, they thought that the library cards, they embraced like the backstory in a way, like it had more information with the game and what we're trying to point out.
I'm going to read one real fast. This was one that we focused in the playtesting. People just became more engaged after hearing about this. So, U.S. Water Wars. The USA launches into a 6-way civil war. California, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas get into it, with Mexico sending reinforcements to Texas to protect their interests in the Rio Grande. The Climate Oasis Rebellion shares the open-source design plans over the alt-eco-web for rain catchment, gray water systems, and atmospheric rain harvesting. So when people were hearing these, they were learning about the game and the possible future, as well as bringing that storyline element into the gameplay, which was really helpful, we noticed.
Alright, so Jesse will be taking this game to Gen Con, which is a gaming convention in Indiana, I believe. And it's also a possible Kickstarter project, which means that the suggestions and changes we made could very well be a reality. And should this game actually come out, it would be very helpful in exposing people to how climate change can affect the world and inspire them to do something about it. So here's Delaney with some information about the future.
The world shown in Climate Oasis could very well happen if we do nothing about climate change now. But with the creation of the Climate Oasis game, people can be educated about climate change in an easy and fun way. And community must come together to help awareness about one of the world's greatest problems, climate change. No.
This is our instructional video, or that Aiden made.
Turn the volume.
Yeah, we can. And Aiden created this, and the beginning is just a short intro.
You got it. Look at all these drawings.
Oh, we wouldn't have.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But it's these guys, yeah. Oh dear, that did not.
And here's the instructional part of it.
You want to talk over it?
Yeah, we thought that having an instructional video would help users understand how to play easier and quick in gameplay, having the option. Yeah, so yeah, rolling the dice, and then it shows you how to.
Place the cards down and what to do with them.
There's the knowledge cards, and it activates a project, the knowledge card. So you will find the corresponding project and then place it on the project card. It shows you how to complete jobs and projects with resources. Yeah. And it shows the consequences. Yeah, I think that's. It shows you how to win the game and how to lose. Yeah.
And that's the presentation. Oh, that's interesting.
Thank you.